everybody, welcome to this video. Today we are going to be watching Jimmy High Roller's video of 4 times young NBA players destroyed their idols. This video has 666,000 views. I've watched some of Jimmy's content before. I have not seen this video. Let me just check the quality real quick. Yes, it is max. Let's go ahead and get into it.
First person I saw was Julius Erving, and he brought so much creativity to the game.
Here comes Julius Erving. You know what's next?
Dr. J.
What a shot by the Doctor!
The under the hand against the Lakers, where you're behind the basket. We all tried to do it once he did it.
What a play by Erving!
Yeah, he did a lot.
Only Julius could make.
I guess
Definitely
I would
an underrated
have those
player.
visions if I hadn't have seen Dr. J in his time.
No matter where a player comes from or where he ends up, almost everyone who's laced up and stepped onto the court has looked up to someone, a player who inspired and motivated them to strive for greatness. Michael Jordan looked up to Dr. J, Kobe looked up to Mike, Devin Booker looked up to Kobe, and Tyler Hero looked up to Devin Booker. But unlike them, the vast majority of us will never get to play against the players who we looked up to. It's only something we can dream about.
True.
But what if you not only got to play against the player who inspired you, but you also balled out and beat that player at his own game? What if you used your arsenal and skills against the man that taught you those moves and gave him buckets in the process? I'd say such a feat would fall in the category of every Hooper's dream. Well, throughout NBA history, many future stars went on to do just this.
Like, I'm 13, so I still got a chance. 13, so I still got a chance to do that, but my idol is like Derrick Rose. I think that's the guy I've looked up to. Really love what he's done, and I think he's better than a lot of people
Even the
think.
GOAT himself. On April 5th, 1985, a rookie Michael Jordan got to face off against his childhood idol, Julius Erving. But this wasn't the first time they had played each other. Earlier that same season, they had 3 other games where they were virtually evenly matched, going toe-to-toe, bucket for bucket. But in the last matchup of Jordan's rookie season, the scale of their brief rivalry would tip drastically. MJ dealing with Dr. J, fairly similar to how he dealt else.
Johnson 6.4. Michael's going to take an 18-footer and he'll zip it. Alley-oop to Jordan. He's going to be right there.
Sorry, God. There is not a person in the that played in Jordan's era who doesn't have a story about him. There isn't a game he had against someone that played the same position as him that he didn't torch them.
Jordan and stayed with it. Jordan, the turnaround dotted line. 2 for Jordan, and he has 11. Oh, look at that move by Michael. Watley to Michael, takes it in, reverse, yes! Holy Toledo, what a play by Michael Jordan.
Holy Toledo.
19.
Crash, right, and he wanted to take a three-pointer when they left him open.
Who are fighting back. Jordan going to shoot it from 18, yes! Jordan, he had the good court sense to make the shot go through.
Man, young Jordan was different.
In 38 minutes, a rookie Michael Jordan goes absolutely berserk on a veteran all-star Julius Erving, dropping 40 points in just 21 shots. Julius Erving was held to just 19 points on the night. After going back and forth with his childhood idol all season long, Julius Erving didn't just hand Mike the torch. Mike snatched it out of Dr. J's hand, because from this game forward, Mike spent the next 2 seasons giving Julius the business every time they faced off, averaging 37 points per game against Julius until he retired in 1987.
37?
And by then, Julius admired Michael's game just as much as Michael admired his. And the same admiration was shared between 2 other successors within Dr. J's lineage, the master and the student. Throughout his entire youth, Devin Booker looked up to Kobe in his game, even saying that he shaped his entire game after Kobe's. But with Devin Booker being
Didn't Booker drop 60 on the Lakers in like Kobe's last season or second last season? I don't know, maybe.
18 years younger than Kobe, the idea of playing against his idol in the NBA was pretty far-fetched growing up. It would take a miracle for this to occur. And by miracle, I mean Kobe playing 20 years in the league and Booker entering the league at just 18 years old. A unique situation that granted Booker the opportunity to play against the one and only Kobe Bryant. Their first scheduled matchup taking place on November 16th, 2015. The first of just a few chances for Booker to go place on...
What is
entering the
talking
league?
stick?
And by miracle,
Go back.
Kobe playing 20 years in the league and Booker entering the league at just 18 years old. A unique situation that granted Booker the opportunity to play against the one and only Kobe Bryant. Their first scheduled matchup taking place.
What is Talking Stick Resort? I don't live in Arizona, I live in Indiana, but I've never heard of a Talking Stick Resort. Just saying.
On November 16th, 2015, the first of just a few chances for Booker to go head-to-head against his mentor. But Kobe didn't suit up that night. A missed opportunity. But no worries, Booker would get another shot against the Black Mamba less than 2 months later on January 3rd. Scratch that, Kobe was inactive for this game as well. Okay, no sweat. Let's just fast forward to March 18th, when the Suns were scheduled to face off against the Lakers at Staples Center.
Again?
This was Booker's time to shine. Except, it wasn't. Because Kobe was absent from this game as well. 3 games against the Lakers, but 0 against Kobe. Now, remember, this was during Kobe's farewell tour. If Booker didn't play him this season, he would never get the chance to. But as fate would have it, the Suns would play the Lakers one more time that season. And this time around, Kobe was laced up and ready to go. But so was the 19-year-old Devin Booker.
As the Kobe Farewell Tour passes through the desert, it's the Phoenix Suns versus the Los Angeles Lakers on Fox Sports Arizona.
Alright.
Oh, he could catch it. Body filled.
I thought he dropped 60 this game, didn't he?
Here's Devin Booker working an assist to the Lakers.
I may be wrong. I don't know.
Raising up. He's mellow. There's no question. Boxing with his third. Here's Booker from deep. Wow. Pitch rolls out here in Phoenix. It's never Booker. I love it because
Booker, knowing this was the only game he would ever get to play against the great Kobe Bryant, did not hesitate to pull out all the stops and show off his entire arsenal, going straight to moves that he learned from Kobe and using these moves against the man himself, dropping 28 and
you can definitely see the inspiration in Booker, how he plays. Definitely plays a lot like Kobe early in his career.
7 on the night. Now, out of the 76 games Devin Booker played in his rookie season, take a wild guess when and where his best game took place. And that's no coincidence. After the game, Kobe spoke about Booker and how extremely skilled and gifted he was, noting that Booker tried to use his signature move against him on the
My fault. He only had 28 that game. My bad.
Of the game. Keyword, tried.
Playing against Booker tonight, I mean, he went straight to my move. The first time he caught it, you're not gonna beat me on my move, man. Like, you know. But I mean, it was great to see. It was absolutely great to see, because I remember, I did the same thing with MJ. I think he's fantastic. I think he has the right attitude. He has the right competitive spirit. I think his footwork's extremely sound. His fundamentals are extremely sound. And now it's just about him figuring out exactly what his game is. And then he can go to that every single night and then make counters off of it. But he has, the skills are there.
The last thing that Kobe said to Booker on the court that night was be legendary. Something that Booker will carry with him for the rest of his life. Speaking of being legendary, one of the...
If anyone was told by Kobe to be legendary, you would remember that for the rest of your life. That's a given.
Few active players that has reached this elusive status is Kevin Durant, a player that quite possibly gets more comparisons than any other player in the NBA. Quick question. What do you call a young, extremely long and tall forward who can shoot the ball well? You call him the next Kevin Durant. Or at least that's what we continue to see from basketball fans year after year with up-and-coming players that even slightly resemble KD. But one player...
Kevon Looney. No one in their right mind should ever consider saying that Kevon Looney is even closely resembles Kevin Durant.
Player that has lived up to that title better than anyone else is Brandon Ingram. Ingram got comparisons to Kevin Durant dating way back to high school, when everything down to his demeanor, playstyle, and stature reminded fans of the Slim Reaper. And this is exactly by Brandon Ingram's design.
But yeah, did you have a favorite player? Somebody that you idolized or somebody that you try to model your game after when you not necessarily when you were 8 years old, but I mean when you realize, oh shit, I'm tall, I'm athletic, I can shoot, like I can play basketball, like this is who I want to be on the court?
For me, it was always Kevin Durant, really. I watched him in high school, I watched him in college, and I've definitely watched him from his rookie year to this point, and that like when I seen him, I'm like, yeah, I want to be like him.
And you could say that Ingram did a solid job.
Again, like you can see like the resemblance in their games today. But Ingram
of shaping his game
like
after Kevin Durant, since KD had this to say after playing against Ingram way back in 2016, before Ingram even played a single game in the NBA.
Oh man, he reminds me of myself, but he's a little farther along than I was at that stage, and I feel like, if he continue to keep working, he's with a great organization that's going to push him and put him in good positions to be who he is, and continue to just work hard, man, and believe in himself.
Run that back. Roll that back.
And I feel like,
what do you say, Durant?
If he continue to keep working, he's with a great organization.
He's with a great organization. Lakers, 2016. Not a great organization.
Put him in good positions to be who he is, and continue to work
Lakers
hard,
fans.
man, and
you know
believe
the
in himself. Everything is possible for him. So, he's a great player, man. I had to watch him almost every game this season. I'm a huge fan. So, it's somebody, first person I can say that I can look in the mirror and look at him, and I feel like I'm looking in the mirror. So, I'm rooting for him.
Little did Durant know, just 16 months later, Ingram would give KD problems on the biggest stage. At the time, Brandon was just 20 years old, and unlike other successors on this list, Ingram was just one of few to outduel his mentor, while their mentor was still in their prime.
But he did. Here is Brandon Ingram, mid-range, very deep, open. Ingram on its way, down for the Lakers. Shot clock at 8. Ingram getting aggressive.
Some people are saying that maybe he's going to be a bust.
Quarter, not nearly as many.
Ingram! He's number one. Ingram underneath. Bank adjustment to finish the play.
Brandon Ingram, he is something else.
You can see his confidence. Hard to get to the ball. That shot was
6-point lead, minute and a half left. Ingram with a big step around, and he's got a new career high.
You can hear the crowd. Let's go.
Let's get into the OT.
You want to shoot with 2 on the clock.
Lock down, Brandon.
Ingram the steal. Ingram the steal on Durant, and he put it up and out. Brandon Ingram just picked Kevin Durant's pocket.
After an overtime thriller, the Warriors ended up getting the win. But a young Brandon Ingram, for the first time, outdueled the man that he shaped his entire game after, dropping 32 points with 3 blocks and 2 steals to Durant's 29 points. It was clear from tip-off that Ingram wanted to show and 2 steals that he shaped his entire game after, dropping 32 points with 3 blocks and 2 steals to Durant's 29 points. It was clear from tip-off that Ingram wanted to show Durant that he wasn't just another kid who received an unwarranted comparison. But you want to know what's crazier than a 20-year-old outscoring a prime Kevin Durant?
What?
Those 32 points that Ingram scored were by far the most points he had scored in a game all season. And just like with Booker and Kobe, this was no coincidence.
Could have won the game, though.
I'm just curious, and we're going to go over to Jay Will right now, but when people say, the comparison people make of you, projecting you forward is to Russell Westbrook. Jay Bill, as you heard in that little soundbite there, saying he's Russell Westbrook. When you hear people say that, what's your reaction?
We've all said
it's a good feeling, but at the same time, I just want to be Ja. And Westbrook obviously is my favorite player, so just hearing that, I mean, it's good, but I don't want to be nobody else. I just want to be Ja.
Westbrook with the steal. Baseline to baseline. All right, Carroll, Westbrook on the fly. Lack of bench scoring, but
with that, you can't just be like, there is no. People keep saying like this is the next Michael Jordan, next LeBron. You can't, if you're going to try to be the next Jordan or LeBron, you're going to fail. You gotta be yourself.
And Westbrook, there at his home in South Carolina. I want to talk about Westbrook. I've been meaning to bring this up with you too.
You'll see on
Westbrook with an education
10 years from now on Facebook if I ever get big.
You didn't think all these stories would be in favor of the little guy, did you? Leading up to the 2019 draft, Ja Morant was getting every comparison in the book, from John Wall to De'Aaron Fox to even Derrick Rose. But the one comp that seemed to stick with NBA fans was Russell Westbrook. Ja Morant often citing Westbrook as an inspiration and a player who he shaped his own game after. But like many rookies before him, Ja Morant got a tough introduction to the league when Russ handed him 33, 9, and 8 while locking Morant down to just 12 points in their first ever matchup. It was a rude awakening for Morant, who admired Russ's game but was now for the first time on the receiving end of Russ's beatdowns. But just 12 months later, Morant faced off against Russ again, and this time Westbrook was nothing more than another player in Morant's way.
Apparently what they're going to do is they're going to do away. Here's Morant. Have to hustle back.
I mean,
and even on those slow...
Ja is different, but you got to fix that hair, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on there.
Breaks. They're able to get it. Beal closes out. And Ja going baseline, and 7 international players on this Washington roster. 2 of them combined there.
Getting better, but not in the hair game.
Ja, dotted line. Morant's 3rd assist of the game, rises and hits. He's had to lobby hard for that call. Tony Brothers finally made it. Morant, yes, are from like outside the 3-point line. 89. Morant to the rim, and
since the second quarter.
Morant, full head of steam against Neto. Yes! A winning record on the road and a losing record at home.
For once.
Morant floats it and hit. Winslow. Morant for 3. Bango.
Why not, young fella? Why not?
In their first matchup since Morant got shut down, Ja completely flipped the tables on Russ, going for 35 and 10 on 61% shooting, giving Russ buckets that he learned from Brody himself.
I mean, Westbrook isn't like the most amazing defender in the world, but he's still pretty average. He's not like 2017 Harden bad. 35 and 10.
Things got so bad that at one point the Wizards had to switch Russ off of Morant to try to stop his offensive attack. But Russ and the Wizards couldn't stop him. He was just too quick, too shifty, and too good. And quickly, Ja has gained the respect of the man he was once compared to. If Russ was holding a torch here, he'd be handing it to Ja. All of these players once dreamed of just playing in the NBA. The idea of getting the best of their childhood idol, nearly impossible to even fathom. Michael Jordan was in the 6th grade when Julius Erving won his first ABA championship. Devin Booker was 9 years old when Kobe dropped 81. By the time Durant won his first scoring title, Brandon Ingram hadn't even played his first AAU game. And when Russell Westbrook won his MVP, Ja Morant was a role player on his high school basketball team. The odds of these young players going toe-to-toe with the men they look up to, slim to none. And yet, those odds never stopped them. Makes you wonder if anyone watching this video right now will accomplish this same feat. As they say, work until your idols become your rivals. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.
Alright, that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll leave a link in the description to this video and Jimmy's channel. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video. Follow my Twitter, Instagram, and follow my Twitch. And yeah. Goodbye.